Since I started sim racing, I've gone through quite a few wheelbases. My first one was a G920 I got from Fry's Electronics, and within 15 minutes of picking it up, started clunking, I got scared and I returned it. And then 3 years later, I got my first real wheel, we'll say. It was a Thrustmaster TX Leather Edition, and I loved that wheel. I had it for about 3 years. It did everything it needed to do, no reliability issues, it always worked. It was so sick. And then the Fanatec CSL DD came out. And for my 15th or 16th birthday, I decided to split one with my parents. Thank you, Mom and Dad. So, split the cost, and I got a CSL DD. It did take 5 months to ship because of COVID stuff, and I got it, and I enjoyed it for about 2 years. And again, that wheel was good. It had some issues with it software-wise, but for the most part, it was pretty solid. And then, as some of you may know, I went to Moser Racing. And I didn't just have Moser Racing wheels. That was my first big partnership. I did content for them. I even worked internally for Moser Racing. I built and grew their TikTok page from August of 2023 until about June of 2024. So I was in deep with Moser Racing, but one of the reasons I left that company was because I felt like it didn't truly represent me. Because frankly, Moser's a great brand. They make good products, but they're not great. They're not motorsport focused. A lot of their products are consumer focused for the casual gamer, more of a gamer product rather than a simulator product. And me, being the nerd that I am, wanted something a little more serious. And that's when I went to Simagic. I'm not sponsored by Simagic. I sell Simagic stuff, but I'm not sponsored by them as a driver. But I really do like their products. And today we're gonna be talking about the long-term review of the Simagic Alpha U. I've had this wheelbase since about June, and it's been a real treat to have. So I'm gonna talk about some of the other Simagic wheelbases, and then also my experience owning this, and then my comparison between the wheelbases I know best, the Moser Racing wheelbases. So with that said, I hope you enjoy this video. Just as a little note, I've reviewed the Simagic Alpha. I'll leave that down below on the Boundless Racing YouTube channel. You see, Simagic has 3 wheelbases, and I've yet to review the Alpha Mini. I've reviewed the Alpha and now the Alpha U, but not the Alpha Mini. If this video gets 1,000 likes, never done before on this channel, I will buy an Alpha Mini, I'll review it, give you all of my settings, and then when I'm done with it, I'll give it away to one of you watching. Comment down below if you want that to happen, share this with a friend if you want it to happen, and like this video, and if we get 1,000 likes, I'll do it. Anyway, let's get into the video. Who doesn't enjoy a little bit of commentary with some driving? Today, we're driving the Team Swarm E36. I know that's very different. Usually I just drive VDC cars, but I've been feeling a little spicy and kind of enjoying these Swarm cars for sure. Today we're driving the Turbo M52 E36. It feels pretty good. So when it comes to the Alpha U, I just want to talk about first and foremost my ownership experience of the wheelbase. So I've had it since June, and again, I've had virtually no issues, but I feel like that's the standard now with pretty much every single wheelbase you get. You're not going to have many issues just because of how competitive the market is and how high quality everything is. You shouldn't really have issues. So when it comes to the driving experience and that sort of thing, I've really only drifted and played iRacing on this steering wheel. I'm not very good at iRacing compared to drifting, but I do enjoy some good Miata Cup and some GT4 racing and all that good stuff. And again, I've had no issues with that. It did take a second to get used to settings and get settings that I like. Some settings out there, especially for drifting, they're decent, right? But they don't really give you that feeling of a buttery smooth wheel, because when I'm drifting, for me at least, I want the wheel to not really fight me, and I want it to, you know, work with me, just like how a well set up car would be in real life. So I guess the user experience of the wheel, it's been good, right? It took about a month or two to get some settings that I liked, just because I wasn't playing for long periods. It would be 30 minutes here and there during the summer. And then for racing, really, it was pretty straightforward. The standard stuff that they give you, and then making some adjustments to it, it did feel pretty good. Now, when it came down to, I guess, mounting this wheelbase, we'll go over that real quick. As you can see, there's no front mount on the wheelbase right now. It is bottom mounted. Just because of the rig I have, it needs to be bottom mounted. There's no front mount solution, which is very useful in case you have something like an older rig or a rig that isn't front mount capable. You're able to mount this anywhere. And it even comes with a desk fixture where you can mount it on a desk if you want your desk to do somersaults. When it comes to the connectivity issues, because I know that's a big thing within the sim racing community now, is people saying Simagic stuff has connectivity issues. I haven't had any big issues. I've had some slight issues where when I turn my wheelbase on in SimPro, it doesn't recognize it at first, and it's glitched out where it says it's fully, rotated the wheel to the left, or my torque is at 0% or something. And all I do to fix that, turn the wheelbase off, wait 5 seconds, turn it back on, and it fixes itself. Sometimes that's all you really need to do to fix your wheelbase. But besides that, I've had no connectivity issues. I know a lot of the connectivity issues with Simagic products is in the shifters and the handbrakes, and I haven't had any issues there either. For the most part, it's all been smooth sailing. So in this video, since this isn't on the company page, or it's just me talking, it's me yapping about this wheelbase, I want to do some comparisons specifically between this and the Moza Racing variant, the Moza Racing R21, which I had and used for about a year and a half. Comparatively, let's start with the price first. This wheelbase goes for $949 USD, which is actually cheaper than when I got it. When I got it, the retail on it was $1,029. So now this wheelbase is a sub $1,000 wheelbase, which is super sick for anyone looking to get into the high-end realm of wheelbases. It's more of not really a budget high-end, but it's a bargain of a high-end wheelbase. You're not spending, $1,500 on a 25 Newton meter wheelbase. You're spending less than $1,000 on a 23 Newton meter wheelbase. Of course, with an 18-bit encoder, so it's nice and smooth. It's able to get your precise feedback. And when I say encoder, that's really important in steering wheels. The higher the bit rate, the better, because that's what reads your inputs and the inputs the game are giving you in order to have a smooth racing or drifting experience. Of course, the entire thing is made out of aluminum, which is super cool. Now, when it comes to the R21, it is a little cheaper. I think it goes for about $899 these days. They have also dropped their prices, so honestly don't know. When I had it, it retailed for $999, so less than $1,000 by a whopping $1. And the construction of it, I don't think it was metal. I think it was like a high quality plastic, like on the housing of the wheelbase, and the input shaft, of course, was made out of metal, but they went for a supercar design. When I switched over to the Alpha U, immediately I felt a big difference. The biggest difference being that, well, the wheelbase felt a lot smoother. It gave a lot more input. The R21 and a lot of Moza products, I don't know about now, it seems like they fixed it, but when I used their products, they had a lot of what's called oscillation issues, aka when you're going in a straight line, the wheel would look like this. And when you're drifting, it was also particularly annoying because when you transition, aka throw the car the other direction, the steering wheel wouldn't be smooth. It would be wobbling all over the place. And that was quite annoying and also hindered me at some rounds during VDC last year. So comparing the two, just wheelbase to wheelbase, of course I'm going to take the Alpha U all day, every day. It just feels and is a lot more motorsports focused. If you're a nerd like me, who's, for a lack of a better word, if you're a nerd like me who just really loves sim racing and cars and wants the most realistic experience as possible, and especially if you're trying not to break the bank, definitely consider the Alpha U. I mean, there are tons of options out there from brands such as Moza, and also Ace Tech, SimiCube, all those great brands, but consider the Alpha U. I've had it since June of last year. I've had virtually zero issues with it, and another great thing about it, and I'm going to talk about that right now, is the ecosystem. So companies such as Simagic, which in my opinion is one of the brands that are at the top of the food chain when it comes to sim racing, they have an ecosystem, which is like the steering wheel, the wheelbase, the pedals, the shifter, the e-brake. They have an ecosystem now, however, it is rather expensive. Their pedals, I mean the active pedals, they start at $1,600 per pedal. Now, it's great technology, it's new technology, it's revolutionary technology even, but $1,600 is insane. And their wheels, their steering wheels, range from anywhere from $800 to $1,000. So yes, they are a high-end brand, the high end of the high end, but they don't have shifters, handbrakes, and everything is still so out of reach. I mean, the pedal, the active pedal, is as much as the wheelbase. Now, if we look at a brand like Ace-Tech, also love Ace-Tech, love how their wheels feel, but their ecosystem, again, there isn't much. They're coming out with newer stuff, which is very cool, such as a cockpit and hopefully a shifter and e-brake at some point. But they have no ecosystem. They have steering wheels, a lot of steering wheels, and then 3 sets of pedals, or 3 sets of pedals you could get, and then 3 wheelbases. And then Moser Racing, they do a better job because they have shifters and handbrakes. Granted, they're not very good shifters or handbrakes. A ton of wheelbases, a ton of steering wheels, but only 2 pedals again. The SRP and the CRP both being relatively cheap, and they don't feel too great. Whereas Simagic, I feel right now, has the best balance of ecosystem and wheelbase. So for example, they have 3 sets of pedals. The P500, which is their low-end pedals, they still feel pretty good, just as good if not better than the CSL pedals from Fanatec. P1000s, which essentially rival, you could say, the CS, and then the P1000s, which I guess could rival the Club Sport pedals from Fanatec. In my opinion, these pedals feel fantastic. I love how the clutch feels, the throttle feels, the brake feel, it all feels super good. And the P2000s, they're high-end pedals, which are supposed to rival that of Heusinkveld. And then they have their 3 wheelbases, of course, and then also shifters and handbrakes. They have a TV1 TBRS handbrake. TBRS is actually hydraulic, which is cool. And then they have a few shifters as well. And from an ecosystem perspective, I really do think that Simagic has found that balance for everything. Now if you don't care about being brand loyal, totally get it. I'm not really either. I just conveniently have all Simagic stuff here right now. And all of it is really solid. Again, I have no issues. I know some people have that connectivity issue, but I haven't had that. But back to the Alpha U. Whether I'm drifting, whether I'm racing, it is fantastic. I really do feel like this wheelbase has a lot of headroom with the amount of torque it has and the amount of adjustability it has within the software. And making a recent change to the software, and yes, I am a few months into ownership, I feel like I've really unlocked the true potential of this wheelbase, especially for drifting. Like right now, drifting, this is the best I've ever felt. Just how smooth the wheelbase is. I can place the car where I want to, and the wheelbase does exactly what I want to. It's smooth, it's not trying to rip the wheel out of my hands, which honestly it did a little bit before I made a slight change to my wheel rotation speed, but now it is buttery smooth. So I really do feel if you're in the market for a higher end wheel, if you're looking to get something with 20 plus Newton meters from a reputable brand, I would highly recommend looking at the Simagic Alpha U. It's one of the best bang for your bucks, especially for wheelbases. You're not spending over $1,000. You still have room to go buy, you know, a steering wheel from the same ecosystem, or maybe even an aftermarket steering wheel from a company like GSI or Q Controls that you could put onto your base. I really do feel like it's a solid balance. And if you're interested in an Alpha U, make sure to check out BalanceRacing.com, my sim racing company, and use code SIMAGIC5 where you can get 5% off your purchase of an Alpha U. And of course, I crashed into the wall when promoing. But with that said, I do hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to leave any questions down below. I didn't go super into depth into the wheel. I didn't go super into depth with the wheel. I want to have a more in-depth review on the other channel just because that's the nature of that channel. But if you have any questions, leave them down below. And again, if this video gets 1,000 likes, I will buy and review an Alpha Mini and give it away to you. only if it gets 1,000 likes. So with that said, I really do hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.